Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream. So, as usual, I'd like to start off with some of the updates from this past week. And since I am here in this test level, a lot of them were focused around AI. So let's take a quick look. Just gonna jump into game mode here real quick. Just move some of these things out of the way. All right, let's take a look. So the one thing that I was able to do is kind of revamp some of the things that I did for AI previously, and so now the enemy is going to have like this little bit of a detection thing there. And initially, I was hoping of doing this via like kind of like an audio cue or kind of um, like I said, the audio cue saying, I'm seeing you, or like and just kind of changing depending on the the amount of detection, and it just that didn't really seem like it's gonna work out. So that's why I ended up with the classic type of this detection bar across the where the cursor is. So whenever he sees you, it kind of fills up, and if it doesn't see you again, it uh, you know um, fills down. you know, you fill something up and you like empty, it's getting emptied. But and of course, once that is to continue on, so once it's all the way up, what it's going to do is going to equip the weapon. It's going to start firing at you, and if you hide from him, let's see so the amount is going to go down, but he's going to go and try and investigate the location that he last saw you at. So if we were to debug him at the moment, he's just going to kind of pant around a little bit trying to find you, and this is still up for maybe some edits. But so once he's done searching, he does like this little loop here, kind of goes around to look for you. Then he goes back to his patrol route. Now, the other thing that I was working on is distractor element. And that's still something that I'm trying to figure out because, okay, so he just saw me again and he's gonna start, as you can see, he's like coming after me, to the last spot that he saw me. And yeah, so as you can see, like right now, he's not seeing me, so and now it's gone because now he's in a searching mode. As if you look at the chase status at the top, he's just searching for me right now. And let's kind of see wireframe. He's still in searching mode, kind of just bouncing around. And I plan to increase that distance of where he's looking for me after I disappeared from his view. And now he goes back to patrolling. Like I said, the other thing that I'm working on is having like a distractor element. So if you were to throw something, as you can see, he's got and now he saw me. So he's gonna, but it seems like this is something that I'm trying to fix. Like there's like a little conflict between the hearing and yeah, he saw me now and he's like firing at me. But there's a little conflict between um, when he sees me and then if I throw a distractor element. So that's something that I'm uh, trying to figure out what's wrong with it. Let's see if I'm able to hide from him over here. Not sure. I think I managed to evade him. But if I was to throw something here, you can see it says um, it heard something, but the one of the issues that I was running into is if he sees me already and I throw something, Well, all of the sudden he's going into this searching mode, and the KNC player is set to false, which is like, you know, not not what should happen, and that's something that I'm trying to solve. But yeah, the main thing is uh, finally settle on something when it comes to the detection. Kind of just this bar that fills up, and if we want to look at it, you can see like there's a detection meter there, and that gets filled up, and once it reaches 100, the guy is just going to start, as you can see right now, is in patrolling status, but now he's going to equip and he's going to try and like come after you and find you. And if he does, then he's just going to start firing at you. The one thing that I'm still debating on is when you start the game, he doesn't have a weapon equipped, and he's just walking around. So I'm thinking I might just make it a little bit easier so that from the get-go he's got like a rifle equipped, and he doesn't have to unholster it, point it at you. It's just once he sees you and the meter is filled up, point it at you and then start shooting. So yeah. Nikita. Hello everyone on the stream. I'm studying at Unreal Engine and posting a video about creating mini locations. Nice. Yeah, very nice. Do you usually post on your channel? If you feel like sharing, please do. And if I have you on Slack, please share it on Slack, on the showcase or game dev, one of those channels. Would love to see that. Okay, yeah, so that was the quick update on the AI. Now let's take a look. Another thing that I have done, one of the, and this might be of interest to anybody else using like world partition, is if you recall last week, I put a couple of the enemies on the main level map in town, but at times they weren't loading properly. So either not everything was loading, or sometimes, if you remember, even previous prior to this, you would kind of fall through the floor because the player would be loaded before the level, or there'd be some other things kind of just being loaded in after you loaded into the world. So I wanted to share something real quick that I worked on this week as well, to help with that. So let's load into that main level here. And I'll show you at least what I'm trying to do with this. Okay, so I guess once all the textures are streamed in. But okay, so we're back in here. Once I jump into the level, you'll see kind of the main change right away. So I've created this loading screen that is gonna show up on top while the level loads. And as you can see right here, you'll see there's like some actors being loaded in. All right, so there you go. So now everything is loaded in as far as what I need for the world. Like those two enemies, and myself, all the other blueprints actors. So what I did for this was, let's take a look at the level blueprint here. So let's bring this in. So you might have seen this part where I whenever the game starts, I check to see if it's in dev mode, so that way, I'm not like loading all the flight, the plane sequence and all that. And then I'm just initializing like the player, spawning the enemies, starting up the mission manager system. So uh, if with the world partition, since I use world partition, uh, you can just, right click and get this node here, world partition, if I can spell it. So this is world partition subsystem. This is what we get here. So you can um, check to see if streaming is completed. And the way I've made it, I'm not entirely sure how what impact this has at the moment. This was just a quick setup that I did, and for because the query sources are needed, we wouldn't compile if you don't have anything in here. Then the query state is loaded, and then I put it into a branch to check and see if it's everything is still if everything is loaded in for me to like initialize everything related to this level. And if it's false, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the sequence and do once to say, okay, I'm going to add that widget, which is this load screen. Pretty simple, add it to viewport. And then I'm just doing a print string here to check. And then this is kind of a retriggerable delay. I think this could have been done with with one of those retriggerable delay. I haven't played around with that option too much. But then I'm bringing it back into this branch here, and if it checks again to see if the if streaming has completed, and if it hasn't, then it keeps on going through this loop. If it has, then I'm gonna run all my initializations and remove the widget from parent. So if we want to take a look at this while it's loading, let's take a quick peek. I think we should be able to see something. All right, so let's jump in. I hope the debug is gonna kind of go through this. Maybe not. Yeah, so there you go. So as you can see, it keeps looping here and checking to see if this is if this is loaded. So it keeps going, and then that's it. Then it just runs my initialization body of work that I have in here. There's quite a few things going on, and then removing from parent the widget, and then everything is loaded in here for um, for game time. Yeah, so that was the other update that I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully this part is the AI again. It's still a work in progress, but hopefully this part is might I hope it might come in handy to somebody that's also using world partition, and whenever they load into the world, it's either not everything loaded, or you load in and maybe some buildings around you aren't loaded. So this is what I did. There's not that much, a whole lot of resources on this. Um, this part here I kind of came up with it myself. I'm not entirely sure if there's a better way to do it, to recheck if, or like to properly check if whenever this streaming has completed, but it works for me. So I'm pretty satisfied with how it works. And that's probably going to be the same way that I'm going to do the loading once you go through the main menu and say, okay, start the campaign, start the game. Oh, right. So that was some of the updates from kind of the gameplay mechanics aspect. The other thing I played around with was these buildings here. They initially they seemed a little bit off in size, and mainly compared to the scale of the character. That was, I would say, one of my frustrations. Like the windows were just gigantic. It felt like they were bigger than the scale of than the height of a character. And while there are buildings with that kind of a size windows, they're very rare. And So I ended up with redoing the building and kind of redoing the scale of it. Also uh, worked a lot on being able to make these a little bit more extensible. So maybe for the rest of the stream, we'll do a little bit of the just architectural work on this. Namely, I have this one here, this kind of size of the building, and it's kind of like around the back is is just as before, but you know, a smaller scale. Let me see if I still have that old one, just to give you a comparison on how the difference in sizes that I did, and we'll place the character in the world to give a kind of a comparison with that as well. Hey Helion, welcome, welcome. Hello. All right, so here it is, the original one. So while the building is not that much bigger, or I mean, or the updated building is not that much smaller. Let's kind of compare the scale for one and the other. Let me see about where I want to put this, so we can get the player up close and look at the sizing. Hey, Mazabodo, I'm still using CryEngine. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm sorry you weren't able to use Blueprints. Yeah, I love Blueprints, I have to say. It's you know, coming from and you know, like yourself, you know, coming from CryEngine into Blueprints, I'm like, oh my God, I can do these things so fast. I so when it comes to classes, tutorials, or courses, I would what I normally recommend is yeah, you type so fast. I know. Um, but that's good. I what I would recommend is um, is like tutorial series, and that's what I usually tell people. If you know, getting through nice. So getting through a tutorial series, and here's a couple of a couple of people that have some of those set up like that way. So this is one of them, and I looked up quite a bunch of his stuff. Ryan Laley, and I think Matt Asplant also has some really good series because it starts you from um, kind of, and here is also Matthew Wadstein. He does more of the last the first two that I sent. They do more like they have like playlist with series. You know how to make a shooter. Of course, you know basic stuff, but you know they give you like an introductory to it. Matthew Wadstein, he has more of like a kind of a bite size. You know, what does this node do? What does this um, you know, X and Y, XYZ node, what does it do in the engine? You know, for blueprints, you know, he's fully focused on blueprints. And I think both these guys, I haven't seen any of them do like C++ stuff. They're mostly focused on blueprints because, you know, that's the quick way to do things, right? Okay, so let's what I'm thinking of doing, let me I'm gonna remove the enemies so that because the uh, as I was playing around with the enemies, they were actually kind of smart. At least they were chasing me around, and you know, once you get two of these guys shooting at you, you would die pretty quick. So uh, let's just gonna jump here into game mode and kind of show you the size comparison to this. I get really lost in on yeah, that's the thing, you know, the community is so big and there's so many people doing tutorials that it gets noisy after a certain point. And I ran into that as well. Oh, nice. Did you send that to me in Discord? All right, so let's take a look at this scale in third person. Yeah, so right now, as you can see, the sizes are much more real life kind of scale when it comes to this building. And it's probably a little thin. I might expand it to be like a three building, or like a three windows here. But like looking at it on this other building, like this door, and this door is like scaled down, but what it used to be like before, the window was like this size. So, bigger than the door, which, kind of bothered me for a little bit. I mean, bothered me quite a lot. And so that's why I ended up just kind of looking at the building sizes again and trying to adjust them a little bit. And of course, once you're in third person, it feels even the building feels, I mean, sorry, first person. The building feels even bigger than, in third person, yeah, you can probably um, get away with this kind of a scale to some extent. Because I mean, even at this point, I mean, you can imagine this window was like over 2 meters tall, and I would say maybe about a meter and a half wide. So it's a gigantic window. And relating that to the size of the building, I just felt that, the way I had them before, they just felt a little too big. Especially, and it's not so visible in when it comes to buildings that have like a storefront. Like this one here, yeah, it still feels a little large, but having it be a storefront, it kind of you kind of expecting it to be a little bit bigger, and that one doesn't have collisions. This one here, again, it seems to be like a good size. Yeah, that doesn't have collisions. This little cafe here, also feels like a pretty decent size. Because again, it's kind of like a storefront. The other one, more of an apartment building. You're not really gonna see those really um, big doors on the entrances. The other thing that I worked on for a little bit was this alleyway that we started in a previous stream. I'm not sure why it's freezing up so bad around this area. There were no extra actors. Oh yeah, so it did have to load some actors, like stream some of these actors in. Yeah, so like I was saying, just worked a little bit on finishing off this back alley that takes you over here. So yeah, uh, those were some of the updates from this past week. And let me just remove this building from here. Other than that, again, this area here, which this is going to be enterable, is just like before. No changes there. Mazebo, I don't have you on Discord, I think. Yeah, so my Discord is the server is on the description of the stream. I think if you click more, you should be able to see it. All right, yeah, so that was a pretty busy week. Mostly it was, again, like I said, focused a lot on the AI, just trying to get that finished up. The only part that I have to to uh, to kind of wrangle is where trying to figure out how the senses are being processed. If you trigger two at the same time, basically, so the enemy can see you and you throw a distractor. So at this point, I'm running into the issue where the that distractor object that generates a noise kind of makes it so that it invalidates the site. And so not I'm trying to figure how that works, but hopefully by tomorrow, if not by next week, I'll be able to have that wrapped up. Okay, and let's see what we were gonna look at is. Starting up Blender here. So if anybody's interested with these houses, the inspiration I've taken is from this model on Sketchfab, which I believe is called Row Houses on 29th Street, Baltimore. And it felt like there were like some really interesting, kind of architecture, uh, apartment buildings, a little bit old, decrepit, and it did show you quite a lot of details which were nice, so that I could use. You probably seen this part that I did, and yeah. One thing that I was maybe thinking of doing today is kind of working on the back side of these and creating like one of these stairs, because at the moment, let's just make this a little bigger. So at the moment, yeah, it's actually kind of okay, with this balcony here, this kind of extension of the building, you could call it. But if since I wanted to use a couple of more of these on this side of the town, to replace this building that I have here, which I'm not very fond of. This is kind of I took this example from a building in a town close to me. So I'm not sure. I'm not really feeling it. This kind of a building, it feels like I kind of like it a lot more. And so yeah. So back into Blender, I was hoping of making something like these stairs, and maybe try to use some of the Quixel assets. Though I'm not entirely sure how many of these like stairs they have. I know they have some, but let's take a look. We'll play around with some of that and bring it in. And for that, let's see. Let's We could try and use it directly in here, though. This one is much. This bridge is not as good as the actual Quixel thing. You can see things in 3D, but at least you can search for stuff. Let's see if we can find something for stair. I know there was like a collection at one point where, and of course this thing has a. Oh, no, yeah, I'm signed out. It has a session length of extremely short. Oh, there you go. I think. All right, so let's take a look at some of these modular stair kits. This is definitely not for like an exterior from the looks, or it might be, but a little too fancy type of setup. Let's see what else we get. This looks like concrete. This is also interior. Let's change this to be a 3D asset. Yeah, and this is another bug. You'll be running into bugs using any piece of software out there. Unreal is no exception. But yeah, whenever like I get that undefined thing for whatever reason. So let's do stair. Yeah, see it goes into undefined, which is why. And then if you select 3D assets and you select stair, it goes into undefined again. So yeah, it's like the QA for stuff nowadays is severely lacking, but there's so many features that let's try and just type it in. I think typing it in, retyping it in usually works. All right. Well, yeah, the one thing that I wish this tool had was because I do like this. I don't like the spindles, but you can't really see it in any bigger scale. That's in which in Bridge you should be able to. So let me just fire up Bridge, and at least that way we can pick something from there. All right, let's see. So we need to go into 3D assets and stair. All right, so I think the one that we were looking at was this one. And of course, you need to sign in just to look at that. Bear with me for 1 second here while I sign into this. Yeah, I just need to do a two-factor authentication. All right, so there we go. I think finally we've signed into here. And let's see, can we see this in... Well, I'm not too much opposed to how the spindles look. All right, so we got a single post and then the ladder. And I think the ladder is quite okay for one of these like apartment, like exterior type of ladders. There's no landing for whatever reason with this package, so kind of I wouldn't call it. I would call it semi-modular. It's not a full package for the ladders, but I'm kind of wondering. It's kind of coming out of this modular saloon interior, and there we go. We got a better handrail kit here. I think this is going to work better for the handrail. It's not as fancy as the other one. The only problem is that this one has has doesn't have these separated. Like it has the stairs, but along with the spindles. I mean the handrails. Hey Maxim, welcome, welcome. So plan for today, that was to continue work on some of these buildings. I kind of worked on doing a better scaling for them, and I wanted to set up like some like I have these over here. I wanted to set these up so they're like right now I'm not sure if they fit with the building so much, and since I want to use some stairs around some other buildings like this one, I was looking into some of the assets that come with Unreal Engine from Quixel, and these are pretty good. Some of these are pretty good. A little limited on the stairs for whatever reason. I mean, I think it's a important feature, especially in gaming. Kind of just changing elevations and such. But yeah, so we got this bit here with a bunch of these. Just some stair section or like the handrails, but then combined with the steps for the stair, like this section from this one. And the one issue that I'm seeing right now is, and that's why they scanned it like this, and it's kind of hard to separate. As you can see, these are just all probably join together the mesh itself. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to decide, or to some extent, consider, do you want to spend the time and kind of joining these together, or kind of create it from scratch? Because it, you know, in some regards, it might be easier to just make it from scratch. The more I look at it, the more I feel like that way. It's a good example on kind of use this design, and I'm just thinking it might be quicker to make them myself. Of course, lower poly count, more control over the poly count as well. Hey, James, welcome, welcome. Yeah, and I do like 3D modeling, especially after this week was mostly focused on kind of the back end, behind the scenes type of stuff with the AI, and so I didn't get to do as much 3D modeling as I would have liked to. But Maxime, yeah, so this everything that comes with this Quixel bridge is free to use with Unreal Engine. So if you have a project in Unreal Engine, you're free to use, I don't know, like, I think they got like close to 15,000 assets in here. And yeah, most of them are kind of, natural assets because they're easier to scan. That's why you don't see a lot of like, hard surface like the stairs and around. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just gonna start modeling this stuff out and see how it's gonna turn out. The one thing that I want to do is I'm just gonna download this so I can use it as a reference. That way it might be easier for me. I'm just gonna download it through, and I actually did not want to download it through the bridge because this one does not actually it does. Oh, that's good. But it downloads it as a U asset. So yeah, let me try and download it here. And I think this one's hopefully going to download as an FBX and I can import it that way into Blender. That's my hope. Let's see. It opened something. I guess it did. All right, perfect. Let's jump back into Blender and see what can we get. I'm also going to use as a size reference these buildings here. And usually, to me, when it comes to scaling, is more of a kind of just keep it relative. So, looking at the kind of the real world building, and right now I've tried to scale this to the best of my, uh, what I could think of, because the whole thing is like 15 meters, but it's kind of from top to bottom, and so that might make this building, call it 10, 11 meters, which is still kind of big, but a lot of these older buildings have some like pretty high ceilings, so I'm kind of overextending with thinking about all of this, but yeah, it's good to keep kind of a reference in scale, and that's what I did for this. I've tried to like scale it as much possible, kind of comparing it to the size of this. You know, kind of the length going back there and in the front. So yeah. All right, let's import that model for the staircase and use it as a reference. Hi, buy a yogurt or buy a yogurt. Welcome and thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. That's I'm happy that people like it. All right. Well, let's just I guess this model contains all the pieces. Interesting. Good. I guess that's a good thing. Just gonna try and move them out of the way. All right, so there we go. This is gonna work as our kind of basis for creating the stairs. Hey, Vichax, welcome, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? The main thing that I like about this is, and yeah, see, I wish, but that's, yeah, I know that's impossible, like these pieces to be, separated, but yeah, anyways. All right, let's start adding some shapes in here and model this out. And what the advantage with some of these modeling tools, I'm not sure, with Blender is so easy to create to add these as using modifiers. So in this case, just a simple array like that. Let's actually scale it down a little bit on the z-axis. And of course, another reason that I um, wanted to do it here is also from the navigability of the player and being able to go up different kind of a different slope angle, right? Depending on the stair. So let's go ahead and do that many, maybe a little bit less. I think that should do it. It's almost there. Now the usually the more difficult thing for me whenever I try to do stairs, and especially in this kind of design, is creating this brace, this kind of support. Hey, Bio Yogurt, you're streaming on Twitch too? I am. Yeah, I used to stream on Twitch a while back, but um, I haven't. Uh, and nowadays, I'm not gonna say I'm disappointed in Twitch, but it seems like it's turned into something that it didn't used to be. Any Scout, welcome. Yeah, it's kind of a it's almost a bridge to the site that's kind of whenever you go to it, it starts going ding ding. If that makes sense to anybody, hopefully you find it funny. But yeah, that's why I didn't really want to. I'm just gonna stick to YouTube because it's also a lot easier. I also have most of the subscribers are on YouTube, and I don't have to like. I know there's like Restream and all those other softwares, but James, yeah, okay, so that's you know what I'm talking about. It is what it is. It's the world nowadays. But that was the one thing that was kind of disappointing to me with how Twitch seems to be lately. And it used to be more about gaming, but nowadays it's about that, what we just discussed, or like political commentary, or like kind of just divisive, whatever. So yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it on YouTube. It seems to be a lot easier to set up. We get all the chat as well in here. So thank you, Bio Yogurt. Yeah, appreciate that. Okay, well, so this one, yeah, yeah, that's true, Any Scout. All right. Yeah, exactly. We know, we know. Um, Now, I'm trying to debate here if I should add this little piece here, or I'm kind of thinking, let me try something. I'm not sure if this is gonna work out so well, and especially given that I have some like weird numbers here, but we'll try, and. see how this might work. Whoops. Let's see. 3, 2. What's a good size here? Like that. I guess this one needs to be even smaller. That's actually not too shabby. This is the one thing that it's kind of hard to get around sometimes. And this is where, if you're good at math and geometry, it could definitely help you out. Let me just move this out of the way for now. Yeah, so it's kind of close, but it's very hard to gauge, whenever you have this. And of course, it doesn't really snap to where that would be. So you can kind of just gauge it by eye. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody will. The only difficulty with this is that I would need to unwrap it prior to applying the modifier, and that's the only, I would say, difficulty with it. But and that's what I'm trying to also make this so that it's in line, and so that's why I was trying to figure it out, really mathematically, because like if you have it like that, I'm gonna try something else. So I'm gonna try a constant offset. So let's do, this one is gonna be a negative -0.2. Let's try like that. And I want to see how far it is to the top. 2542. Oh, come on. All right, so the height of the step, 23. So VCheX, are you gonna unwrap one step UV and texture it, or all steps together? I think I'm gonna do all steps together. AnyScout, let me see. Can anybody else hear me? Is the volume low for anybody else? Because I kept the same settings as last week. Let me know. But yeah, as far as unwrapping, oh, thank you, Bio Yogurt. What's the volume on your end at? AnyScout? Maybe the volume in could the volume in YouTube be low? Thinking. So with this one, 0.25. Oh, 14%. Yeah, I mean, I think that might do it if it's, I'm not sure uh, how YouTube handles like volume. All right, so there's something here. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I know I've run before into some issues with the volume. So, yeah, sorry that I couldn't help anymore. Okay, so now they're like kind of just together. Okay, so that's what I wanted. That's what, so now when these are going to be merged, I won't have and if I go and remove doubles, I should have this work out pretty good. All right, and the other thing that I wanted to do is this. No, this one too. And let's do a mirror on this side, but let's actually make it. I actually forgot to start screencast display if anybody's interested. And this one's on the Y, so there we go. And buy yogurt, is game day your job or just a hobby? That's a hobby. Yeah, it's luckily my day job is in software engineering, you know, with a lot of other duties as assigned, but mainly software engineering. So it's easy. It was easy for me to pick up the programming part of things. Any Scout, I got a quick question. Do you know how to use Photoshop? Yeah, I use Photoshop. I mean, not on any kind of professional level, but yeah, I use it quite a lot. Why do you ask? All right, let's add post here, and then we'll do the railing. And we'll see how that's going to turn out. All right, so let's add another cube. And just as before, I'm going to try and use the scale of this to kind of keep them in line. But yeah, I think I started with Blender, and I think that's where it got me. You know what? I should try doing. I should, see how it works to do game development, and that's how I ended up doing more of it. Uh, well, so when it comes to videos, yeah, I mean, I think it might be somewhat different than if you were thinking of oh oh yeah, I think it's a mix for me, when it comes to what videos get viewed the most. And it could be, I'm not sure if there's anything related to content. Uh, but yeah, if do I have you on Discord? Maybe you can send me some of those and I can at least take a quick look at it, see if anything jumps at me. All right, so we got this. Let's place it right around here. The bottom should be good there. Let's add a railing. And for that, since we're done with the scaling here, I'm just going to use the just going to use this to really kind of compare it to what we have on here. So pretty close to uh, the way this is. Let's do maybe a little bit, maybe 7 steps, and then we have a landing. And let's add some of the spindles and the kind of the handrail. And I'm actually just going to add it as part of this for the handrail. Oops, I do not want to add a circle. Sometimes this is tough to do when you're like right close to. Let me just kind of hide this for now or move it out of the way. Because I'm trying to snap it, and I think it was snapping to the building somehow, or like, because that was like the closest vertex that it could snap to. I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't snap to these. Oh, because it's like proportional editing. This always proportional editing kind of throws you off in if you're not paying attention to things. There we go. Oh, no worries. I mean, feel free to share things. It's maybe we can at least give you an idea on something. Okay, so we have this. Let me select this one here and place it around where this one is. I'm gonna start at the top of the stairs like that. All right, so corner to corner. Let's start right there and then face. So I'm gonna try and move it on the Y and Z axis to kind of bring it all the way to here. I'm hoping that is straight as should be. There it goes. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I'm trying to match kind of this top section of this, and then I'm gonna do another one that's a little thinner that all the spindles are gonna be kind of hanging off of. Just like that. And in here, I'm just gonna add the spindles to this. There we go. And it's actually on the inside, so kind of pure luck is how I ended up kind of just placing these, and it's kind of biting a bit on that. Um, doesn't bother me that much. Let me try and get it right there. All right, so for this, I'm also going to set this one to, and so this way I can apply a mirror and have it work like that. All right, I'm starting to think these posts are a little bit too wide though. You know, looking at these, I mean, they have a kind of a 3 flights of stairs to support it, so it might be okay. We'll see what once we get it in the engine, how this looks. The only thing is, and I need to understand why, that the spindles, they're like not going the right way, or at least they're kind of, you know, they're not following the railing here. So these two are parallel, but when it comes to the spindles, let's see, did I make this a little shorter? No, they're the same height. So this is an interesting, oh, I know why. Because I'm placing this at the end of the step, and this one's like right at the beginning of the step, and that's why it's causing some troubles here. Hey, Gitish, welcome, welcome. Doing all right. How are you doing? Glad to have you. Vichex, how you scale the prop match with the human height? Any dummy in the scene? Well, so um, I usually import them into the engine, and I try to make him like that's the best way to do it, I would say, of course. I usually try to like scale them um, kind of world scale, so to speak. And that's where I'm using some of these building references um, for for kind of proportionality more than scale. But yeah, I totally relate to what you're saying. And since I don't do so much of the 3D modeling, I'm being hit myself with the lack of a dummy. So yeah, let's see how this looks, and we might just go about importing like a skeleton in the engine. Okay, so what I was gonna do is I was trying to see if this particular building, it seems like they're placed right at the beginning of the step, so let's try and do it like this in here. Kind of a random question. No, I'm not. No, it's if you're married and you're lucky enough to find a person that would tolerate all this, oh yeah, hold on to them. But yeah, this is not a hobby that most people would tolerate, so to speak. Hopefully that made sense. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you're lucky enough to find somebody that that tolerates this, you're lucky. All right. So I think this one is pretty much, it's not as exact as I wanted it to be, but it should do. And the other thing that we need to add is going to be like the landing. And so this is each individual set of steps. I'm not sure if I want to do this as one piece, or let it be um, I'm gonna try something because I have some what Quixel Bridge has, and it looks really good, is a lot of wood beams. And I might be trying to use one of those instead of these posts. So let me try and separate these. All right. I'm gonna do something here, move this to 4 so I can export it a little bit easier. The other thing is just have them at the origin point when exporting, because then the origin of it is just going to be off in Unreal. I think there's a way when you import it to address that, but I I don't think I looked far enough. All right. I'm just going to create a backup of this. And let's apply these modifiers and join them together. And let's do a quick Smart UV project. Let's do a UV grid real quick to make sure that they're looking okay texel density wise. Oop, and I forgot to apply this, my bad. Let's do that again. There we go. Definitely a lot less polygons than the one from Quixel. Now the question is, let's bring this into the engine and see how we can texture it. And I'm going to show you what I mean by the by those wood beam posts, because we've used them previously. So let's go ahead and I think I can get away from this. Let's see, where was Blender? X, and let me find where I'm gonna export this. One second here. All right, so we got it in here. Let's place it in the stairs. Oh, come on. Why am I having a hard time finding it? Oh, because I named it like badly. Yeah, I think the thumbnail also does a lot. But like for myself, I I think I should do better as well on maybe better thumbnails. I just don't want to get into like the thumbnails where you get the guy like screaming at you, you know, or like they make kind of grimaces and faces. Yeah, I don't want to do that. But yeah, It's tough to find like sometimes the right the right thumbnail, right? I think a lot of people like might spend too much time on just trying to find the right thumbnail for their things. All right, so let me just gonna move this out of the way for now. So here's our little piece here, our little section, and this is what I was talking when it came to these wood beams. To kind of use this as the base for this, so that way, if this gets built up and up, yeah, clickbait. Oh, I hate that kind of stuff. I usually just I don't usually dislike videos, but whenever there's like clickbait, that's like the first thing that I hit is dislike. Because I don't know why, but I hate that kind of a thing. It's just not right. Okay, well, so this would be kind of the post for the stairs. Now the difficult part would be to find a texture that would be fitting with this. Hopefully, I haven't looked at this particular one yet, but I think we might be in luck because of the type of asset it is, and it's kind of just a bunch of lines. So I can bring this into Blender and try uh, to UV unwrap my asset just around this. So I'm using the exact same material. I don't have to like import a different texture and all that. And this is a really good quality. And this wood surface, I would have loved to see this as just a tileable texture. I mean, not that there isn't one, and now that kind of gives me ideas to also do that for this, you know? But first, let's see how it works in exporting this and wherever this one was at. Let's try and export it. And what I'm actually going to export, I'm going to export the normal because sometimes with the base color, since it's got that background that's kind of the same color as the scan itself, it's kind of difficult to position your UVs. I'm going to export this. Let me find out where. Because the main thing that I'm interested in doing right now is figuring out where to place this. And I think it's this one here. Can't click big has. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true too. And that's, that's how I feel about stuff. If people watch, this stuff that I do here and they find it slightly entertaining, then, um, that'd be great if that's the case, So, all right, let's try and also place. Actually, I'm gonna select everything. This is gonna be a little bit. I wouldn't say difficult necessarily, but a little bit tedious. I think I might have. I'm not sure if I might have bitten up more than I could chew here, but we'll do it either way. This is kind of the time part consuming, the time consuming when it comes to texturing, but you know, I do like it. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out, to be honest, after spending this time on it. Let's try and grab a few more because these are, you can put like a number of these on the same surface. And you know, since this is kind of like I don't have a lot of stairs really, to be honest, when it comes to my project. So, you know, making some of this, you know, it's to me is also fun, but I'm gonna get to use it quite a bit. Um, Shukaib, hopefully I said that right. So if you use stuff from Megascans on your game and sell it on Steam, no, I mean as long as the engine is made with Unreal, there shouldn't be any issues. Because they specify that these is Unreal use only. But if you do use a different engine, I believe through their thing you can actually, you know, just buy assets through them their platform. So it doesn't have to be Unreal, but with Unreal it's free. Which is cool, and you know that's why they have that Quixel bridge thing, so you can like really easily import things into Unreal, which is very convenient. And for some of these, I can just like rescale them a little bit. Yeah, yeah. But you know, it's one of those things that like I'm doing now. You know, I I'm not really making use of the asset. I'm just kind of look downloading it and making use more um, of its textures or whatever. Gitish, but who would know if you have used Quixel stuff inside my Unity project? Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that as well. But you know, I think in the end, like, and this kind of pertains to me. You know, I would know that. So, um, so yeah, I guess it's you know, every person feels a little bit differently about using these assets. All right, so almost there, guys. My apologies. I think, you know, and if it comes down to somebody like actually looking at it from like the legal aspect of things, it's still going to be pretty difficult, you know, I think. I'm so curious right now as how this is going to turn out because um, I would say I think a concern is going to be how um, how they're gonna how the edges are gonna look like. So luckily this is very square-ish. So we'll see. All right. From looking at the normal, it's kind of okay. Another thing that I usually like to apply is this hard ops add-on, just so that I can add a little bit of kind of a rounded corner to it. It's just basically a bevel. The one thing that I don't really like it is when it comes to this. Now, so see, this is exactly what I was talking. Now I'm just noticing this part here, and this is kind of throwing me off a little bit, but let's try and fix that. I've actually seen some of these rafters kind of be made out of pieces like this, but yeah, let's see if we can fix it. I'm not even sure what angle this is at, but try and get it as straight on here as possible. That's a little bit better. The only thing that bothers me is this, trying to apply applying this bevel method. And is there a different way that we can apply it so that it doesn't apply all the way down to here? Hmm. Well, let's see how it looks without it first. All right, and we'll apply the material. All right, and they kind of work together, I would say. Yeah, I can live with that. As much as picky as I am. The one thing that I do like about the scans, in all honesty, is they're a little bit, kind of bumpy and, like um, so that part I definitely like. And I'm really thinking if I should just cut this one out. Thank you, Gatish. Yeah, and let's see how it looks when I apply the bevel. Oh, and I forgot that I separated this. So let me try something here. Oh, that's actually the backup, my bad. Uh, what I'm gonna try to do is like this stuff here. I'm gonna separate these and apply the hard ops to these. Come on. All right, so let's see if we can make it like that. Yeah, so definitely having that beveled edge definitely helps. I wish I could have done it on this section, but for now, this is gonna be like that. All right, that works. Now let's try and take a look at the collisions. And let's see if there's one that has been generated already, which I believe it might have, which doesn't really work anyways. Let's try and take a look at how this one, we could do this one here. And usually I like to do the base. And since I don't use the Furai-K, this is how I am doing this part here. Kind of starting at the bottom of it. Try and make it a little thinner. Let's extend this out. And if you remember from last time, this is one thing that tripped me when the enemy got stuck. Like the collision for this was like propped up like that, and it couldn't like uh, go over it. So for whatever reason, it got stuck in that. Okay, now let's do the railings. I'm not entirely sure which one's front. Front is Alt H. Oh, so the front is actually the side. There we go. All right, let's add another box. And since you're not going to be able to jump off of this, it's going to be kind of enclosing from all sides, just like that. Oh, so you mean like this, James? Because at least that's what I did for all my stairs. Yeah, and the main reason that oh, thank you, Any Scout. The main reason that I wanted to do it like with that is, and basically why I disabled the Food IK is that I think it's fine for like a third-person shooter where the camera is not tied to like a bone or anything like that, because it's or tied to the capsule. It just starts like doing that jerkiness thing. And all games that since I play mostly, first-person shooters, I don't think I've seen. I think maybe they do a fake on some of the, or they have the camera linked somewhere, somehow a different way. But a lot of the games that I've played, they don't really have Foot IK, and not sure how it impacts performance. It's probably it probably has some impact. But at least in my case with ALS, it was just very jerky, like the when you were going up the stairs. So yeah. Anyways, okay. Let's continue building this because we do have some more of these to be placed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let's place. I'm gonna place like a landing strip here. And for the landing, that's going to be, unfortunately, I'm going to need to use a different material for that. Or maybe I could just work with this. Let's see. Now I kind of wish I didn't extrude off of this, to be honest. So I'm going to create the landing right here. For enemy animations, are you using Mixamo or, well, I have, it's also ALS. So everything, the enemies, um, when it comes to movements, everything is from ALS. The combat, yeah, I have a combination of Mixamo and like this package that I had for combat, which, it's not probably not the best, but it works out. And sometimes I even end up making animations myself, but I usually make it in the engine, which I know it sounds silly, but it's doable. And like animations, for example, when I when I look at the at my tablet, like the hand tablet. So animations like that, some of those I just make it in the engine. But again, they're like very simple animations that I can't find anywhere else. That's the main issue, is that I wasn't able to find them, and I just end up making them myself. All right, so that could be the landing there. Let's array. All right, so I think I can use that as the landing. We'll see how that's gonna work. So a little bit more of the, and now that I look at this a little closer, it kind of seems like these are all joined together up until here. I think this might actually cover two of those. So I might just be able to, though it's gonna be a little, might look a little weird in some places, but I think this might work. So let me try doing it like this. Make it a little smaller just to fit in here. All right, we'll see how this is gonna turn out. Oh shoot, one thing I forgot, sometimes when you unwrap and you have like these big pieces, it's not gonna turn out so well. Oh, that's interesting. Why would it? So what I'm hoping to do is like this piece, and I think maybe this is gonna work now. Yeah, there we go. All right, I think that might look okay once we look at it in the engine. Gonna do a sharpen on it, a width as well. There. James, I mean my pose is in Blender, but the animation blend spacing in Unreal Engine. Yeah, definitely. That's sometimes I do that as well, but I very rarely do animations. All right, so let's export FBX. Got the stair section. And of course I forgot to disable that, so let's remove this blob there. And let's add a box collision. All right, so for now, this one's probably going to miss the, um, the spindles on the ends, like around here. But we'll see how it behaves around with the character if I need to expand these or if they're a little too tight, because that was the one thing that unfortunately I did not get around to test. So just out of curiosity. 1.13, I think it might fit, to be honest. Might not want it to be this tight, but I also don't want to make it extremely wide either. All right, so back into Unreal. Save this real quick. We got that. Let's create some posts just so that we have them at the ends like that. I wish there was a way that you can, I know there's a way to like collapse this to a blueprint, but it's whenever I tried it, it felt kind of cumbersome. It didn't really feel like it was working out so well. So I'm just gonna group it up. So we're gonna have it like this, and we'll see how this is gonna end up. Though it might be really easy to turn this into a blueprint. So let's see, these guys don't overlap, which is good. The texture, I believe, did come with a roughness map, but usually when it comes to wood, I just remove them, to kind of cut back on, so the material looks kind of like this. The base color, the normal, and the roughness, I just use default white. Sometimes I would use the base if it's kind of a faded whitish color. Let's take a quick look if I can like adjust the roughness multiplier and the power to I mean it's actually not too bad in all honesty. Yeah, and I totally get that. I'm the same way, but especially when it comes to wood surfaces, if I can, use the base, then I'm gonna try and use the base. Okay, well, so we have this. I'll test it first to see if the player can get up on these stairs, or if it's just going to be a little bit too abrupt, because there is like a minimum angle that the player can can climb basically. or can walk on. So let's take a look and see if if it can fit through that thing, through that opening. I'm not sure. It feels a little tight. All right, so let's get this thing to load. Yeah, so kind of right now is how the experience in the game is going to be like with the loading. Oh, hey, look at that. It actually, and you can actually move side to side. There's like room to like so much space for activities. That actually turned out pretty good, and it's using the same material. I can't really tell. I think this is going to be fine the way it is. Um, I might be able to make it a little wider. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. So that was that kind of reproduced what we had here. Where's my layer with the buildings? Did I hide it or there we go. So what I was trying to reproduce is kind of this setup over here. And of course this set of stairs to be used in other sections of the game, places in the game as well, and not just to get to the top of the building. Enough room for a dead body. Yeah. Well, that was, a while back. I was playing around, and I think I still do have that feature where I can drag a body. Like so you would kill one of the enemies, and you'd be able to like drag him around, and I'd be able to pick it up and then dump him inside of a dumpster or something. But I was like, oh, this is getting a little bit too much like Hitman type of stuff. So yeah, it was a cool mechanic that uh, I was practicing. Right. Okay. So the other thing that I need to consider here is going to be the kind of these outer corners, like here, needing to extend these wood beam supports. Like they're fine over here. And of course, if I was to add one on this corner, that should work as well. The only thing is, and I think this would only be on the first level, that I need to place some that are completely like a singular type of type of piece, right? So just like it would be over here, you know. Can't track body, they just chopping out the inventory. Oh man. I never got around to playing that one. I heard it's pretty popular. Yeah, well, I think another thing to be added is some kind of like supports across this, you know, um, like on these ends as well, just kind of like a framing, I would say, for this. So let's do that real quick, just to kind of towards the end of the stream here. So let's try and add that in. Since this one's a singular piece, I can just like use these here. Yeah, something like that. Doesn't have to be completely, totally perfect, but all right. Just rotating them around to not make them look identical. Let's try and place some. Yeah, and this is, I think this was a better decision to kind of make them here, just because, it would have ended up like with the one from Quixel, I would not had all these, and I would be looking at that afterwards, and I really wanted to have those. So I think it's better that we just did it here. All right, let's see how this is going to look. Enough with this. I need to like, where is that customized collision? Or no, actually that was generate missing collision. I think I might need to keep customized collision. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that actually looks quite a bit better with those in there. All right, well, let's place this. I think in the example that we had from those houses, that particular one did not have a fire escape. Yeah, and so this is what I meant that, I'd be able to use it in other locations as well, like this one here. Let's go back into Unreal. Just going to remove this for now. And let's try and place these a little bit better. First, I'm just going to try and adjust this over here. So it'd be something like this. And this could be like a door here is what I was planning to do. And it seems like the scaling itself is pretty much where it should be, which kind of lucky, I guess, which is still good. And going up to the last level. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think it came out, probably not identical to what this is, but it's pretty close. I guess this one, oh yeah, the last level does not have the extended things there, for the supports, but it should be just enough. At least for this group, I can probably adjust these and kind of squish them down a little bit to fit with what the railing is going to be on this end. Oh, thank you, James. Yeah, and so we're getting close to the end. I think I'm still finding the last thing that I want to do today. But the promise, the last thing that I want to do today is going to be to get the railings on here. So let's add that in. I wanted to bring this, and a number of these right here. And let's see how we can adjust these. And while I do really like the Quixel assets, like the the 3D scans, they're really hard. If you want to do something like this, they're impossible to work, almost impossible to work with. Some of them are okay, but the ones that are like uh, bigger scale or like more complex meshes, they're you can't really do much with them, unfortunately. All right, so let's see. This one's gonna go up to here, I would say. And then let's grab this one as well. Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, I think when it comes to scans, they're still really good for like natural assets or like organic assets, I would say, right? Because you're not really gonna, modify that out, So, um, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Maybe to about there. We'll see how that looks in there. Hey, Tan, welcome, welcome. How's it going? Now I'm really curious to see how this one's going to turn out. So this is a video game that I've been working on for a number of years, but yeah, it's called On Your Own, literally just like the name of the stream, because I am working on it on my own. And today we were looking at a little bit of some of every time I do a stream, I do some updates from this past week. And we were looking at some of the AI stuff that I did, with the detection and the attack, kind of the enemy searching for you. And now, usually after that, I just do some level design, and because it's more entertaining for the for the eye, so to speak. But yeah, this is a single player action adventure video game that made in I work in Unreal, and we were just working on this one mesh for the stairs for this kind of apartment building. Oh yeah, and I forgot one of these. If I wanted to make it a door, which is in here. Where was that layer here? Yeah, I need to make sure that I remove a side of it. Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, it's a passion project of mine. So it's hobby, uh, part-time type of thing. That's that's how things are with this, but it's a lot of fun, kind of like I said, I've been working on it for a lot of years, but it's it kind of, being a passion project. I definitely like to be involved in it, and usually streaming during the weekend is uh, just sharing some of the work with folks. And I think at times I get to learn some things as well, and there's people that have questions, so that's always great. And I show some things of how I've done things in my project. It's might help other folks out as to you know I've implemented it like this way. This is how I've implemented this feature. Might not be the right way necessarily, but I really enjoy sharing it with folks. So yeah, towards the end of the stream, this is what we ended up doing, is work on this on these stairs, and, and they actually turned out quite uh, much better than I was expecting, to be honest. And totally VitchX. Yeah, as long as it's not a job, it's how I mean I do like it like this. So, not um I'm not sure how it would be as a job. I guess it really depends on where you work, but the whole thing with the crunch time and crunch work and all that, I've had friends that had to go through it. It's not the funnest of things. Whoa, what's going on here, my friend? What are you stuck in? What did I just break? Oh, my bad, guys. Did I mess something up over here? I thought I'd be able to climb over that, in all honesty. Oh, thank you, James. Yeah, it's a pretty good little, just like a tar material kind of thing. Oh yeah, you're right. I think you're probably right. The pillar causing this. See if I can scooch this to the left a little bit, like that. Gonna try and lower these a little bit as well. Let's try this one more time, just to hopefully end the stream on a high note. Nina-san, what foliage packs are you using, especially the grass? It looks good. Um, that's a good question because I use I wouldn't call it a myriad of grasses, but I have a combination, and I can show it to you if you like. Let me just test this out real quick. Oh, come on, my dude. What's going on here? Yeah, so it got past it got past the pillar there, but I'm not sure exactly what else is it stuck on. Like in all honesty. What all right, see, I don't have collision for this area yet, but it can't be because of the angle of it. I didn't make a change to it, so that's kind of odd. Um, yeah, so for the grasses, I used some grasses from a package called, it was free at one point for the monthly assets. I believe it's called like the Arctic, like Brushify. It's from Brushify. And no, James, I don't think it's the collision. I don't think it's the collision of the platform above it. It's just, oh, well, wait. I think you do have a great point here. Let me take another look at player collision. I'm wondering if, like you were saying, if though it doesn't seem to go that low, but yeah, I can see it like this one's offset quite a bit here. So that is quite interesting. Why that would be that way. And I don't think it's because these are too tight. I'm going to space them out a little more. Because I mean, at least the one on the outside. I think the one on the inside should stay like this so it doesn't overlap with the next level. But the one on the outside, I'm going to try and push it out a little bit. But yeah, I don't really have a explanation. I'll give this one more try, and then I'll show Nina-san what the grasses that I use, and um, and I'll try and dig through it and see what's happening. But yeah, so I was saying, Nina-san, on the marketplace, there's an author called Brushify, and one of the packages that he has is Arctic Landscape, I believe. Oh, there we go. I think it might have been that one. It was like a little bit too tight. Oh, welcome to Unreal. Yeah, go figure why this crashed. I would not be able to tell you. Anywho, so with that being fixed, let me Nina-san, let's quickly fire this up. Well, as quickly as possible, I guess. I'm gonna need to restore some of the. I'm not sure if I managed to save the updated collision, but but yeah, let me see here. So if you go to Marketplace, come on. Here there is Rushify Arctic. So yeah, if you got this one, there is I believe this one is what I'm using the grasses from because it does have, if I recall correctly, it does have some a grass mesh. Yeah, so there you go. And combined with that, I use a couple from Megascans from Quixel, and I can show you the one that I use. And that's, this we're talking just about the grasses. Oh shoot, I wanted to open these. I don't want to lose the open asset editors. Yeah, as you can see, that one's one of the reasons why it's running so poorly because I had like 45 tabs open and a bunch of them were actually like meshes. And usually when it has the other tab open with the mesh, it kind of slows performance quite a bit. So my apologies why that one it wasn't running at, was running at, 15, 20 frames. But I had a bunch of them open for like the behavior trees and all that, for AI stuff. Okay, well, while those are opening up, there we go. All right, so let me take you kind of outside of town where there's like some layers being painted in. Okay. Yeah, so this is the one from Brushify. The flowers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they might be from Brushify as well. These bushes are from, I believe they're like a blueberry bush from Quixel. I can't recall exactly. Then this is the other type of grass that I have, which is mixed. So there's like the same landscape grass, but it's mixed in with this type of grass from Megascan from Quixel slash Megascans. But let me see if I can figure out which one it is to tell you. 1 second, because I have it on my landscape here. So under the landscape uh, grass layers, let me see where is the. All right, so I'll just show you the landscape grass layers here. That might be a little bit easier, and you can pause the video if you like. Um, okay, come on. All right, so one of them is this from Brushify, this called long grass. And then I have these flowers, which is also from Brushify apparently. But again, I'm not sure if this was with the Arctic package. I know he had another package at one point that was free, and that's how I got these free. Okay, so the clovers are also from Brushify. Let's see what else. The grass dry is also from Brushify. There you go. I think they might be all from Brushify with and this is the yellow, it's called Yellow Rabbit Brush. That's from Megascans. And in here, again, just with Brushify, but without that yellow grass, and with some different um, scale, the different values for the densities and the scaling, just to give a little bit of a variety. So if I have this type of grass around, I can like paint in. Um, have grass one and grass two, right? So I can paint in something a little bit different that is without this kind of taller grass around here. So, you know, like that. So Nina-san, hopefully that gave you an idea of what's what, so to speak. But yes, that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by. Hopefully it was something interesting to see and spend time with me. But oh, glad it was helpful. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, Nina. And oh, Nise, I'm not sure why I can't spell, I can't read. But yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll post it in Slack, Slack and in Discord, just as usual. Thank you, VChecks. Thank you, James. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Tan. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Some of you tomorrow. If not, see you next week, and have a great week coming up. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.